Welcome everybody to today's Lunch and Learn webinar. My name is Ben Love with Grassroots IT. Very happy today to have presenting for us Jack Gallagher on the topic of Xero cloud accounting. There's Jack, she's from Notch Above Bookkeeping, a bit of an expert in this area. So without further ado, again, I'd encourage you to use the chat window to throw any questions up. I will be monitoring that and we will respond to any questions at the end. But until then, over to you, Jack.
Thank you, Ben. We'll go with that again. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to speak here today. And thanks, everybody, for giving up half an hour of your day to learn a little bit about Xero. I'll try and make it as informative as possible and give you a few things to go away with, which will hopefully help you out. So, yes, I'm Jack from Notch Above Bookkeeping. We're a Xero partner, bookkeeping partner here, and do a lot of Xero training and setup and installs. So just today I'm going to cover some of these questions for you. What is Xero and why are so many people making that switch? How does a cloud accounting solution make your life easier? And what's all this talk about the automatic daily bank feeds, which are a big part of how Xero operates? So I'm sure you've all heard a little bit about Xero, which is why you're here today. I'm really just going to jump in and give you a demo, but I'll give you a little bit of an overview to start with. It's a relatively simple accounting system. It does away with a lot of the jargon that other accounting systems may use. So it talks in simple language and doesn't use a lot of the accounting talk. So much easier to understand. Smart in that it's a little bit intuitive as far as the information you've put in there before and where it wants to code things again. So I'll give you a demo of how that works. And secure. It's on the internet. It's security levels of your internet banking. So it is accessible anywhere, anytime, but at the same time it is secure. So no one else can access that, obviously, unless they have your password and you've let them get into that. So let's jump into the Xero software. So here we go. It's just on a web browser. So we just log in to your email address and password. And I'm just going to be using a demo company today. So you would log in and you would see the dashboard of your company. So this is accessible via an iPad, iPhone, or on any web browser. And there is a smaller version for your phone, just with a little bit of a little less information, but the information that you'd need on it. So this is what you see when you log in. It's on the left-hand side here, we've got your bank accounts. So instantly you can see how much is in your bank account. And as a small business owner, that is a pretty important thing to understand straight up. So first thing in my morning, I jump in and I can see exactly what is in my bank account. On the right-hand side here, we can set some accounts up as far as a watch list. So you might want to see how your sales are tracking month and year to date, how much PAYG you're going to be up for at the end of the period, as an example of what you might want to see, and you can set that with whatever you're after. Now, the most important bit here, money coming in. So this is your sales, a graph of when that's due and what's overdue. Likewise with money going out and expenses, but the sales, the money coming in, and the bank accounts I know are the main things that I look out for in my business every day. So nothing to install with Xero, no upgrades to do, that's done when you're sleeping. No backups required, it is backed up off-site, multiple places around the world every minute or so. So you don't need to worry about that anymore. There's no putting it to drives and taking it off-site, etc. It's all taken care of for you. So let's just jump into the bank feeds. So this sort of answers what are the bank feeds. and how secure are they? Every morning, the bank pushes through to Xero the transactions from the day before. So sort of about 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, you'll see the day before's transactions. So we click into here. This is money spent and this is money received. And on this side is the transactions that are in Xero that it's matching things to. So for example, this Ridgeway University money in, it's looking up and going, okay, there's an invoice in the system for that same amount. Is that what this payment is for? So in order to reconcile that, we just need to click OK. So thinking back to other accounting systems, you would print off your bank statement, you would go into receive money against the customer, you would receive that money, and then you would tick off your bank statement and tick off your accounting system on both sides to ensure it reconciles. So this takes that process and puts it into a one step. This one here is money going out, Truxton Property Management, and likewise it's matching up against the accounts payable invoice. So we go OK on that. Smart Agency, it's not picking anything up. So we just search here and we can see that that's paying off 2 invoices. So it really does make that bank reconciliation process quite straightforward. The other great thing I love about Xero is the collaboration with your bookkeeper, your accountant, your financial planner. For example, we can put notes in here to ask questions, and often that's the way we'll communicate on a specific transaction with our clients. So they might put in, where do I code it? And I can type something in there with my initials after it and save it. And then the client can go away and code that up to the correct place, and they'll know for next time what to do with that. So that collaboration is great. There's no more putting your data file onto a USB or emailing it off to your accountant and then getting the conflicted versions of which was the latest version. Can I process this in this one, or do I have to wait until I get it back from my accountant? So just moving down here a little bit. This is just to spend money at the local bakery, so we'll just pop this one in. Just put it to office expenses for the sake of that for now, and click OK. Now, if we reload this page, the next time we go across and get that coffee at the bakery, Xero is going to go, okay, last time you put it to office expenses, is that correct again this time? So all we need to do is click that OK button. We can also set up some bank rules. For example, this one is set up every time we go and shop at 7-Eleven, Xero knows where to put it. So this is coded in the background, and all we need to do is OK. So every time we spend money there, that just comes up, and there's no entry required other than just that tick. So that's just a little bit of an overview of how the bank reconciliation process works. And in my view, it certainly does speed up the whole process, comparing it to some of the older accounting products. So we'll just jump back to the dashboard. I won't bore you too much with too much bank reconciliation for your lunch break. Let's get on to what really matters and who owes you money and when they're going to pay you. So back to the dashboard, we can jump into sales. And this is sort of an overview of your biggest debtors. So this graph here, you can see straight up who you're most at risk if they don't pay, who to make that phone call to follow up on payment. So we can see here the debtors from the biggest down to the smallest. Let's just do a sale up. So we just go into new invoice. Now, see, it's got the facility to do repeating invoices. So if you've got, for example, repeating monthly invoices that you send out once a month, you can set that up and set and forget, and it will just go out once a month on the day that it needs to be sent. But for now, we're just going to do an invoice. So we'll set that up, due in 14 days. Now I'm just going to pull down some random presets here to create an invoice. And in this case, we can track it by different categories. Now this might be departments, it might be different offices, or it might be a different salesperson, for example. But we've got locations set up in this file, so I'm just selecting a few there. Can move these around if we decide, no, we want to actually list the golf balls together or whatever it might be. And when we're happy with that, we hit approve. Now from here, we can print this or we can email it. Now I'm actually going to email this to myself and show you something which I just love. Just wait for that to pop into my inbox. When I'm waiting on that, I'm just going to take you to the list of sales. Okay, so here we've got, here's the invoices, and we can see when it's been sent. So how many times have you sent an invoice to someone that owes you money and they've said, look, we didn't get a copy of that invoice, and you know that you sent it. So something happened with technology on the way. So this is one of the reasons why a lot of people are loving Xero, is that they can really track if their customer did get the invoice and actually when they got it and where it was sent to. So these ones with the tick have been sent. Now that one has popped into my inbox. So here is the invoice. I can click on this link and view it. So that's just going to download there. So there's the invoice that we created before. Now if I jump back to the sales list and refresh this page, this tick's turned green. So you know that that invoice that you sent out has actually been viewed by your customer. So that's a really good proof to know that yes, they have actually had that invoice. Now I'll jump back into it here. They're fully customizable. So I'll just bring up what this demo invoice looks like on the PDF version of it. So you can put your own logo, etc., payment terms. The other thing you can do is have this pay online button if you link it up to one of the payment services. So if we click pay online, that's taking me right straight through to my PayPal that I could log in and that invoice would be paid straight up. So that's one of the great features of getting your cash in the door a lot quicker than has possibly happened before. Let's take you back to the dashboard now. And we'll look at money going out. Now, I'm not going to linger too long on this because we all know you've got to pay your bills as part of running a business. But let's just, I'll show you another great feature that people are loving and why people are making that switch. So let's I'll just enter an invoice here. So Ben sent me an invoice. And I'm putting relevant, just some information in here for the sake of it. Now, we can attach documents. So just say I've got the PDF of Ben's invoice. I can just pull that into here, and it attaches itself. If I did that properly, let me try that one again. There we go. It attaches itself to the transaction. So that is always there within that transaction to view. So I'll just approve that. And then whenever we go into it to drill down right from the profit and loss level, we can click on that. And there's a copy of the source document in relation to it. So how many times has your accountant said, can you just give me a copy of this invoice, please? I need to look at it before I can finish preparing your BAS. If that was all in there, there'd be none of those things that just hold up the process and all take longer to do. You can attach as many documents as you want. So here's a fuel receipt, for example. And what I do with these is I just photograph them with my phone and email them in so they're attached within the file structure in Xero to add to the relevant transaction. So this file feature could be used to store contracts or anything in relation to a particular transaction. It can go on to invoices or purchases or pretty much any transaction within Xero. You can attach a document of any sort. So that's something that I love, to just keep it all together and make your office go paperless. If we all talk about that, but how many people are actually there? Let's jump back to the dashboard. Now I'll just show you some of the reports. I won't go into these into too much detail, but full range of reports you would expect from an accounting system. So we've got the profit and loss here. Now, just touch on the regions earlier when I was coding up that sales invoice. We can run the profit and loss by region. So we've got the different regions here. And if we code everything by that, then that information is going to come out of the accounting system. So that makes life easier and good to report on the numbers. Now, I'll just show you an example of another report that I prepared earlier. Just a management report as an example of what can come out of the system. This is what they call an executive summary. So just a summary by month of how you went compared to last month on things that matter. How much cash you've got, how much income you've made. One of the ones I love on this is your debtor days, and this is obviously really bad debtor days. It's just with the dummy data, that's what's in there. But this is something I monitor to know how quickly debtors are paying, and if that's creeping up, then we really need to put some sort of debt collection system in place, or look at what we're not doing there and should be doing to get your money in quicker. So there's lots of useful things on this report. Just to compare your KPIs month on month. And we all love graphs over numbers, so you can pull out certain graphs on things that make life easier, the numbers more easily understood, for example. So that's just a touch on the management reports that we can get out of the system. Full payroll functionality. You would expect with leave, sick leave, annual leave, your employees can enter in timesheets and apply for leave online, and it all gets approved online. So that functionality is in there as well. And then, so once you're done for the day with your bookkeeping, you need to do is a simple log out, and you're done. Accounts are finished, and you're off to play golf or spend some time with your family, which is much more exciting than bank reconciliations, I'm sure. Now, the Xero is the basic accounting product. With that links in what they call add-ons. There's a whole ecosystem of add-ons which attach to Xero to do different things depending on what your business needs. For example, Receipt Bank is an easy way of getting those PDF documents into Xero. Workflow Max is a job costing and tracking system. So I manage my jobs through that, and it's a whole time and billing, etc. program. Some of the other popular ones, Unleashed for inventory tracking. Xero itself doesn't do inventory tracking, but that's where these add-on partners come into play, and they all link and talk to each other. So there's no exporting and importing. They just connect. And Vend is another point of sale that is really popular. So there's all these different add-ons that link in with Xero to make up the full package. So that's my demo on Xero today. Thanks for your time, and I will no doubt there's some questions out there, so I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone's got anything that they would like to ask.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jack. That was wonderful. Now, if anyone does have any questions they've come up with, please throw it onto the chat window there within the webinar software, and we'll take that to Jack. All right. Just had a question come in. Thank you so much, friends. Jack, the question is, where is the data being held? And as a follow-on from that, can it be retrieved? So I'm assuming the scenario there is obviously where is it being held? Maybe in Australia, or is it being held overseas? And can it be retrieved? What if you need to, or what if you want to leave Xero? What if you decide that you don't like Xero and you want to go back to MyOb or whatever comes next?
Right, okay. The data is stored in, I believe, 4 different places internationally. So it is held outside of Australia as well as inside of Australia in super secure IT places, backups, etc. So yes, it is stored internationally, but it is secure. Now, if you do want to leave Xero, you can export your data out. So it's all exportable into CSV format or into Excel. So yes, you can export it out. And as a matter of course, when I prepare a BAS return, so every quarter, I will export my general ledger, profit, loss and balance sheet, just to take a snapshot of what it was like at that point. And that is more for if anyone changes anything, I can go back and see what changed, rather than the security of actually having it on my own desktop. So yes, you can export it. And is it retrievable? Yes. If you close your file down and then decide later that you want to open it again, you can, with the payment of a small fee to Xero, have that reactivated.
That's great. So, Jack, another version on the same question. Can data be restored to a previous version? So, for example, if you go through today and make a whole pile of changes, but you just didn't remember to have your coffee first and there's a bucket load of mistakes you've just made, can you roll back all those changes? Can you go back to what your books looked like yesterday, for example?
That's a very good question, and I don't know the answer to that one, Ben, but I am going to find out. So if you can just take the details of who asked that question, and
yes,
I will find out that answer.
Absolutely. Look, that's a fantastic question. I'd love to know that myself. We will be sending out an email with a link to slide deck and any other demo resources that Jack has mentioned. So just keep an eye on your email, and we will also answer any of these questions that Jack needs to follow up in that email. So, Jack, another question. If we're talking about point of sale now, I have heard a lot about Vend, which is one of the third-party add-ons to Xero that provides point of sale functionality. It seems to be extremely popular. Do you know much about Vend? Is it capable of doing multi-location point of sale?
Yes, I believe it is. I'm not a Vend expert myself. We work with third-party people for the add-ons because there's a whole host of them, and to actually understand them all in depth would be an astronomical task. So I know what they do, but I don't know the detail of each one. And if a particular client was needed a third-party application, I'd get in the relevant experts to help out with the install of that and the integration of that into Xero.
So I guess the answer to that question there, just for France to ask that one again, is don't know the answer for sure, but Vend themselves would be the best people to follow up on, and we can quite happily put you in touch with them. Otherwise, obviously, a quick Google search on their website will get you in touch with just their generic sales team. Another question for you, if I may, Jack. The bank feeds that can automatically come into Xero, I know that's a fantastic feature. It can speed up bank reconciliations immensely. Are all banks supported, or do you need to do your banking with a particular bank for that to work?
Most banks are supported. The big ones, the Westpacs, NABs, CBAs, St George's, etc., all are totally supported with a form, and then that just works. The smaller ones, the Bendigos, etc., you need to go through a different system to get the feeds coming in. And yes, they work as well. The only ones I've struck that don't are some of the loans at Bank of Queensland. Like a normal Bank of Queensland account will work, but some of the loans don't feed.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that they are bringing more and more on each day. Well, not each day, but very regularly. I know when I first started, my St George one wasn't supported in the easiest of ways, but it is now. It feeds in automatically. But if they're not supported, which is only the one or two bigger loans now, they can be imported via a CSV file. So for the loans, I would import them once a quarter or once a month, because obviously there's not a lot of transactions in those, and it is not every single one anyway. We've got 100+ clients on board, and there's probably about 4 bank accounts within those 100+ clients that don't feed.
All right, that's great. And what about, you did demo there how from an invoice which is sent from Xero, there can be a link that will click you straight through to, for the client that is, to click straight through and make payment against that invoice. Now, you showed that going through to PayPal. Is it possible to have that going through to other credit card processors?
Yes, there's payment services. Yeah, depending on your merchant, or you can set up something like eWay, which is easy to set up if you don't have a different merchant facility, and that then your customers can pay via credit card on that. There's a whole host of payment services. Fantastic.
And my last question, this one's coming from me. To play the devil's advocate, Xero can do a lot of things, especially with that amazing ecosystem of third-party add-ons. What can't it do that the major competitors such as MyOb or QuickBooks can do?
I guess MyOb and QuickBooks have their inventory within the accounting program. So it's all linked, it's all one program. Whereas with Xero, you've got your accounting program, but then you need to go and research the appropriate add-on to perform that full function.
But that functionality is still available just through that third-party add-on?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Fantastic. All right. Well, look, everybody, the time is now 12:30. We did promise to get you in and out with a short, sweet lunch and learn webinar. I really hope everybody's got some fantastic value from Jack today. We will be sending out an email shortly as soon as we compile all of the resources and links to any of this. We will also have Jack's contact details in there. If you do have any other questions at all regarding Xero, I'm sure Jack would be more than happy to answer your questions. Obviously, you can find her website at notchabove.com.au. And without further ado, thank you again for your time, and we will hopefully see you at the next webinar. Thank you all. Goodbye.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks, everybody.